100 cases of people who wandered into the wilderness but never came back. Accounts of children, people
was a coyote,
vanishing,
dog, or
seemingly
else.
swallowed up by the many endless forests across America, or even later found in ways that defy logic.
An animal.
Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man.
She described the way that the creature moved as being unnatural.
You've had problems in the neighborhood
It looked
before?
like it was
Yeah, my dog was
uncomfortable
killed here
in
just
its own
recently.
feet.
I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, it was standing out there. I'm out here
It
looking through
looked
the
right
window
at
now
her
and I don't see
vehicle. She
anything. I don't want to go
believed
outside.
that what she was looking at
Jesus
was
Christ,
pure
you better...
evil.
Sure.
See ya!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9" up.
Do you
I
see
believe
him
the
now,
cases of
sir?
about
Yes, I'm looking
100
right
people,
at him.
at least, who claim that they've been abducted
hang
by
on.
aliens.
He's
One
right.
of Dr.
Is
Matt's
he in your
patients,
yard,
Linda,
sir?
Yeah,
who
he's
says
gone.
she
He's
has been
big.
Faded out.
abducted since childhood.
Reality is, I was just
what I remember
being brought up this tunnel of light, right?
being
Out
around my
of
bed.
this tunnel, I
And I
just
ran between them
noticed
and ran
parts
out
of my
of
life
the
that
room to
wouldn't
my
even
mother's
occur to me to
to
remember.
hide
Then I
from
knew that I
And
wasn't
I
in
never
my
told
body,
anybody
that I
about
was
that, and I just buried it
close to
in
death.
the back
And
of
so
my
then I
mind.
came to the end of this
My
tunnel
brother, he
and
never
noticed
spoke
there
about
was
it.
a man that first
I
searched me
noticed
at first as
a
a placeholder.
mist or a
And
fog
I
kind
also
of
saw
moving.
relatives that had
The
died
action, the
that
motion
year.
caught my
Then
eye. It
the
actually
wizard,
started
without
taking
moving his
shape,
mouth,
taking
spoke to me and
form.
said,
The
"Struggle,
idea
you're
of the
too
Grim
young to
Reaper
die."
went through my head, cloaked figure. And as I was watching, it kept becoming more and more and more distinct to me that this was actually something with some type of presence. Like it knew I was there. And as I was watching it, it turned and looked directly at me. I felt like whatever this was angry at me. I wasn't welcome. It wanted me out. I had been face to face with a ghost or a demon, a spirit. I'm not really sure what. But this feeling of terror actually was going through me. And I really felt more that it was demonic. It was something very evil.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Real Supernatural Encounters. For my guest today, I have Reddit user Bananarama16, and they are going to tell their experience of a SkinWalker encounter. So before we get to that, could you give a brief bio about yourself?
Yeah, so I live in northern Colorado. I have ever since I was like 8 or 7 years old, and I've never had anything weird like this happen to me. I'm pursuing a career in accounting. I consider myself to be pretty vanilla. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you are ready, go ahead and start with your encounter.
Awesome. So it was a few years ago. I was working just like a part-time job while in school. And I used to always work the night shift, which was from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I want to say it was probably fall. It wasn't winter yet. I don't remember there being snow. And I was driving home like I always do. I lived at the time kind of in like Masonville, right by, what is it called? Like Devil's Backbone area in Colorado.
Okay.
And we're not too far out of the city. It was maybe 10 or 20 minutes to get to like a Safeway or something like that. And yeah, I'm just driving on the side of the road, nearly to my house. I'm like maybe 2 minutes from my house. And I see this like dog on the side of the road. And at this specific time, I had a person in the area who would always kind of lose their dog. I'm not sure what would happen, but I would just see dogs all the time on the side of the road. And I would pull over and I would look at their collar, call the number and say, hey, I have your dog here. And then I'd help them get back to the owner and stuff like that. And so I thought that this dog was just kind of the same situation. It was a medium-sized dog. And yeah, it kind of looked a little skinny. It wasn't starving or anything, but it was definitely slender. And the fur was pretty sleek. It looked like short gray fur. And it was on the left side of me. while I was driving past it. And so I roll down my window and I'm talking to it like I would any other dog. So I'm like, hey, sweetie, come here, babe. Like, come here, puppy. And so the dog is very timid and it's not looking at me, but it is slowing down. And so I'm just trying to really make it feel comfortable and stuff. And so I just keep talking to it, and eventually it looks at me. And it's going to sound crazy, but the best way I could explain how it looked was, I don't know if you've ever seen Teletubbies, but the way their face is, just perfectly cut out. It looks like someone just copy and pasted a face onto like a weird, being, except this time it was just like a normal looking dog. And the face was a human face, but it didn't have any distinctive features about it. It wasn't masculine, it wasn't feminine, it didn't have any facial hair. It never opened its mouth, so I didn't see any teeth. No scars or anything, just like a very basic face. And it didn't say anything to me, but the second I saw its face, I had like a heart attack. And so I'm just like, what the fuck? And I just sped off, and I was too afraid to look behind me. So I don't know if it chased after me or anything, but I don't think it did, because where I was living at the time, we had a gate to keep out horses because there's also horses in the area that like to kind of wander. So I had to park on the outside of the gate, undo the gate, pull through it, redo the gate, and then park. And so I was so scared that I was just gonna, I don't know, get eaten, get murdered or something. But I didn't see it and nothing happened. I just went inside and thought that I was going crazy because I'd never heard of anything like that. And I've seen a lot of stuff living out in the country. You see elk, you see deer, you see raccoons, farm cats, missing dogs. You even sometimes see foxes. And yeah, I think the thing that was so weird about it is every time that I would look up something like that, like a dog with a human face, it would always be like a wolf or something like that, or a coyote. And this was just like a normal dog. It was so weird.
Well, I have a few questions for you. So, how tall or big was this dog?
I mean, the dogs that I've kind of had in my life are like healers, like blue and red healers. And I would say it was like basically that exact size,
Okay.
It wasn't very big.
Okay. What color was it?
I think that it was gray. It was kind of dark, and so I didn't get maybe the best view of it, but from the light that was kind of hitting it, it looked just like a short gray fur of a
Okay.
coat.
Okay. Now, how did you learn about skinwalkers?
Well, I immediately Googled what I saw after that happened, and legends and stories came up about skinwalkers. It was a bit different than my experience because I saw a lot of things having to do with, like different native tribes and more wild dogs, and maybe a little bit more scary of an experience. Maybe they go to attack you or something, or the whole experience is just more scary. Whereas mine, it was only scary because I just have no idea what I saw, but it wasn't mean. It didn't seem threatening at all. It was very shy. And I actually kind of felt like a jerk the way that I handled it, because it was, it was just going about its own day, doing its own thing. And I pulled over and I'm just bugging it. And I'm like, hey, come here, let me see you. I want to get you back to your owner. And then it looked at me and I was just kind of mean. And I was like, what the fuck? And I drove off. So.
That's funny. What time was it when this happened?
So I worked until like 10 p.m. So it was between 10 and 11 p.m.
Okay. Okay. Did you hear any type of like telepathic or mind speak in your mind?
No,
Okay. Was you able to smell anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. What do you believe this creature was?
I really have no idea. I think about it all the time, and I think it's almost like a human tendency to try to make sense of things that you just have no idea what it was. And so I just tried to think of, maybe my family, maybe the area it was, anything weird or different that I had done in like the present at that time. And I just really couldn't draw any conclusions from it. I didn't have any big differences in my life. Nothing like that has ever happened to my family. My family is I wouldn't say entirely superstitious, but they're the type of family that would never touch like a Ouija board or anything like that. So I have no idea.
Okay. Would you be able to draw or sketch what this creature looked like?
Um, to be completely honest with you, my drawing skills would just really butcher it. But I did do some Google searching to try to find like the right body shape and
Mhm.
kind of like the same fur. And I did find a dog. I'm hoping that I'm not gonna mispronounce it, but I think it's called like a Weinmeyer or something like that. Let me Google it really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's pronounced a Weimaraner? I'm so
Uh,
sorry.
would you be able to spell that out for us?
Yeah, it's Weimaraner. Apparently, it's a popular dog
Oh,
in Germany.
so Weimheim.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Huh, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
Um, let's see. Did you ever drive back to that area?
oh yeah, all the time. Because I would have to drive there every day, twice a day, because it was like basically right near my house. I can't get to my house without driving on this road. And so I drove up and down that road like at least 1,000 times since then.
Hmm.
And throughout all times of the day, all times of the year. And I haven't seen anything like it since.
Okay. All right. Was it walking on two legs or four legs?
4.
Four. Now, if you was to give a guess, and it was on all four legs, how high up off the ground do you think it was,
Um,
feet wise, compared to a person?
maybe like between 2 and 3 feet.
Okay. All right. And I think I got one more question for you, unless something else comes to mind. What kind of facial expression did it give you?
It didn't make a face at all. It was
Okay.
so weird. It just looked at me with its face and it didn't look surprised, it didn't look scared, it didn't look angry. It just it reminded me of like maybe playing like a very old video game when you're building an avatar and
Hmm.
it's just like bare bones, very basic, face. It's so weird.
Hmm. So, I'm trying to get this image in my head. So it was like this dog or wolf-looking creature. So on all fours, and then instead of having like a wolf or a dog's face, it had like a plastered type of human face.
Yeah, so the neck and the shape of the back of the head and like
Mhm.
the ears were all of that of a dog.
Okay.
But instead of having like a snout, like right kind of near the top of the ears down by the neck, it was just a human face.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Um,
really flat.
What kind of could you tell like a human descent, like race or like what color it was or anything like that?
It was Caucasian, I think.
Okay, that is a very, very strange creature indeed.
It was so weird.
And then you got terrified and you stepped on the gas and you flew out of there.
Yes, yes. And I'm kicking myself to this day because I'm like, what if it did talk? You know, like what if it had some answers? What if it was nice? And
Yeah.
I guess I'll never know.
Do you think probably it could have been some type of experiment from probably some type of dark government or even people that, live in an area where they can get away with creating experiments like this?
You know, it's funny you say that because there was a commenter who said something similar to that,
Hmm.
specifically with sheep, I think they said. And it's interesting because a little bit up the road, there is a family that has quite a few sheep,
Yeah.
but they all appeared to be normal. I'm not sure if, maybe they are doing something weird and maybe they did something weird with a dog. Um, the dog didn't look in pain or
Yeah.
anything, but it did look a little bit slender. Maybe like it hadn't eaten in a few days, but not like it was starving to death either.
Hmm.
Um, it seemed very like sweet and shy, and so it was weird. It was really weird.
And so for the dog's body, was it more of a dog or a little bit of a human as well?
It was 100% dog.
100% dog. Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate you for coming on and telling your story. Would you like to give the closing comments or advice for anybody who may, face this creature or have the same similar experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess I'll never really know if I handled it the right or wrong way because I just kind of sped off and I never left my car. I just rolled down my window. But like the curious part of me does always wonder, like, what if I would have stayed? And so I guess if you've had a similar experience and you've seen something like a dog with a human face, I would love to get in touch, especially if you have more information, because I just have a whole bunch of questions and not a lot of answers. And I can't really find any information to a situation very similar to this. And so it'd really be appreciated. My Reddit account is Bananarama16. So feel free to message me if you have any details or additional questions or anything like that.
All right. Before I lead off with this, I forgot to ask you, what year was it? When did this happen?
Um, I'm gonna say it was either 2017 or 2018.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, you heard it. If you do encounter this creature, you can get in touch with her through Reddit, through her Reddit username, Bananarama16. Thank you again for coming on, and thank you guys for watching. It's been another episode of Real Supernatural Encounters, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.